Thank you for tuning in. Please like, turn on notifications, subscribe, or share. Want to be a guest? Email podcast@tricountyareachamber.com.
Hello and welcome to the Tri-County Area Chamber of Commerce Chamber Chat Live. Up on the screen are our 2021 Mission and Vision Partners, our MVPs as we call them. 16 great companies that are helping us continue our work. Their time with us started in January. They'll be going through as our sponsors until June. And again, we encourage you to check them out. And we encourage you to reach out to them, thank them for their support of your chamber and the work that we're able to do as they are supporting us. And that is helping all of us succeed and all of our businesses in the Tri-County region be successful and get resources from us. So we, again, thank them for their support. And hello, everyone. Eileen Doutrick, President of the Tri-County Area Chamber of Commerce. It's great to see everyone today for our Wednesday, March 10th edition of Chamber Chat Live. This is from the President's desk. I have a couple of announcements that I will share with you. Again, as we have shared with our other shows in the month of March, we've given Bill Vitiello from the Victory Bank a little bit of some time off from Chamber Chat Live. He will be joining us again next month. But for Women's History Month, we are hosting the show with myself and Danielle Rexroad, our Marketing and Communications Director for the Chamber. I just wanted to, as my portion of the show, go over a couple of announcements. We have our economic forecast breakfast. We used to do every other month in-person breakfast meetings. While we are are in sort of the restrictions for event locations, we are doing these events virtually. So every year we usually do an economic forecast breakfast. So we're doing one again this year with the support and help of Tompkins Vist Bank. That is going to be on Thursday, March 25th. We'll begin at 8 a.m. We'll do a couple of announcements and then we look forward to their presentation and giving us a 2021 market outlook and 2020 year in review. I also just want to take a moment and thank Tompkins Vist Bank. Some people are aware, and if you're not, we have an educational foundation, the Tri-County Area Chamber of Commerce Foundation Incorporated. It is designated as an educational improvement organization by the state of Pennsylvania, which enables businesses who provide donations to that foundation, gives them tax credit opportunities. So we were fortunate enough in December to receive a $3,000 contribution from Tompkins Vist Bank. It enables us to offer career development programming in K through 12 curriculum in our public school districts. So we again thank them for their support. And then next Tuesday, we have our Reach Coffee Chat. We've mentioned Reach several times on this show, especially this month with it being Women's History Month. We're doing something a little different. We're extending our time period and we're doing a special session for our Reach Coffee Chat on Tuesday, the 16th. We're extending the time from 10 to 11:30 and we will be speaking briefly about this process as part of our program today. Facilitating that leadership game next Tuesday will be Jenna Armato. So I am going to sign off of my President's Desk piece of today's show. Jenna is our guest, so I am going to have her brought on and we can continue with our interview.
Hi there.
Jenna.
Hi.
Hey, Danielle.
Hi, everyone.
It's always a little weird for us because Danielle's right in the room next to me, so it's always a little different to see her on screen.
Yeah.
So, Jenna, welcome to Chamber Chat Live. I know you've been a guest before, but we're happy to have you back. We are really focusing in on our chamber membership and providing them access to resources that can help them grow. Our motto here in 2021 is "Here's to Growing" in 2021. So we are focused on that growth opportunity and anything that we can provide our members to help them through that process. So want to start off today just with obviously the basics. So if you can tell us a little bit about Jenna Armato.
Sure. Well, thanks so much for having me. And I can say I've just been so blessed and thankful to be a part of the Tri-County Area Chamber of Commerce since the beginning of my business, since I launched my business, and just such an incredible experience. So thanks to you both for making that such a phenomenal experience. Absolutely. So Jenna Armato, I am a growth and success coach. I started my own coaching and training business in 2018, certified through the John Maxwell team. And so, I work with individuals and I work with organizations, and my role truly is to facilitate growth. And so I have three main areas of focus: leadership development, effective communications, and growth and resilience. And so those are really three areas of focus. I work with individuals who are entrepreneurs. They may be starting a new business. I may be working with individuals who are mapping a leadership development journey. So perhaps they've stepped into a new leadership role and they want to map out their journey and working with their team, or people who are just mapping their career development journey. So that's a little bit about what my work with my private clients looks like. And then I work with nonprofit organizations and businesses, and just help them grow and help their teams grow.
Well, and I know we've used you several times. You actually recently did a skill up session for us, the 3 questions to motivate and maximize your momentum. And we've used you with our leadership class, and you've done some training with our leadership Tri-County program. So I'm well aware of the pieces to your training, and I'm just wondering what took you to the point of wanting to be a coach?
Yeah, well, thanks so much for asking. So, prior to doing the work that I do now, I actually spent about 20 years working in the corporate environment in marketing and advertising. And about that, almost 20-year mark, I got to a place where I felt a little complacent. Like it just didn't seem like I could get any traction and move forward and grow forward. And I was kind of asking myself, I kind of stepped back and asked myself, first of all, why am I in this place where I feel like I'm not gaining any forward momentum? Why is that? And then second, what does forward look like for me? And, when I really kind of peeled back and took a look at the why, first of all, I didn't really have an intentional strategy for growth and development within my organization. And so that's one thing that I realized is there's kind of a lack of intentionality. I think it, kind of 360 degrees from a growth and development perspective, kind of internally within the organization. And then the second piece was just my own personal growth. I was so focused on my role as a professional. I was so focused on my role as a mom that I forgot to focus on me and grow me. And so those were some things that I really needed to step forward and think into as I took a look at, what do my forward steps look like? What do I want for my career? What does that look like? And really serving people, having an impact with people in some way was absolutely a part of what different looked like for me.
Was that a piece that you were carrying forward from, were you a relationship person in your previous role in corporate world?
Yeah, what's so interesting, when I was in that place and I was trying to figure out, like, what does it look like for me? What does different look like? What does impacting people look like? And when are the times in my life when I have felt really, truly fulfilled? Because at the time I was kind of lacking that sense of fulfillment. And interestingly, it was through some volunteer work I had done. So I served on the board of the American Marketing Association, the local Philadelphia chapter. And I still serve on that board and am still highly involved in that organization. But for many years, I served in a volunteer engagement role. So I had the opportunity to interview all of the volunteers coming into that organization and really learning about them, understanding what their desires for growth were, professionally, personally, and then aligning their volunteer opportunities with their career trajectory, with the ways that they were looking to grow and facilitating that process. And that's when I said, oh, I really like to, I really like that. Yeah, I really enjoy that. And so it was a piece of that. And interestingly, a big part of the work that I've done, certainly over the course of the last year, the marketing background that I've had has had a massive impact in the work that I've done in the last year, certainly with entrepreneurs, some of whom opened their doors in January and February of 2020. and had to make some pretty quick transitions and toss out the original business plan and do some really creative thinking in terms of generating revenue.
Right. Yes. Something we've all lived through. So you mentioned as you were introducing yourself, you're a certified John Maxwell coach. Why John Maxwell?
At the time when I was taking a look at steps forward, and when I was taking a look at what I felt at the time I was lacking, I was in a place where in my role at the time, I was gaining more responsibility to lead people and to develop people. At the same time, I felt like I really didn't have kind of training or equipping, or I was seeking more. I was using the go with your gut approach, but I wasn't sure if I was on track. And so I said, I really want to learn I really need some training, some skills, to learn what it's really about to grow people in a way that's going to best serve them, because that's really what leadership is about. And so it was that piece that led me to John Maxwell and learning about leadership development. And at the same time, as I was looking to grow myself, that personal growth piece, that's what led me to John. Both of those things kind of came hand in hand together. And when I saw an opportunity that said, "Would you like to be certified to speak, to train, to coach people in these principles of growth?" I said, "I sure do."
That's great. And you do very well at it. So thank you for providing that service. So, coaching, I'm sure you come up with a lot of different scenarios. And again, I am aware of your work in group settings as well as individual settings. And I've heard very positive feedback from both. Personally for you, and you don't have to tell a specific story, but is there a rewarding moment that has just been impactful in your time as a coach? What is that most rewarding thing that really just gets you energized and really makes a difference and keeps you pushing forward to the next day?
Sure. Oh, what a great question. Thanks so much. I think there are two things. When I think about there are two things, I think one is when I am working with an entrepreneur, when I'm working with a leader, when I'm working with someone and we're having a thinking partner session. So they're looking to grow in some way and I'm coming in. Oftentimes it's coming in with a different perspective. I know for me, I had an experience once where I realized the value that a coach could bring me in my life. And it was actually when I was climbing a tree, believe it or not, but I was climbing a tree. And as I got closer and closer to the top of that tree, what I realized were that the hand and the foot grips started to wrap around the side of the tree and I couldn't see where I had to go. And I had to rely on my team who was on the ground because they could see things from a completely different perspective and they helped me guide and they navigated my way to the top of the tree. And I said, when I'm in my business, it's like I'm looking at the bark of the tree, right close up in front of my face. I'm so close into it. It's that outside perspective that a coach or a mentor brings. And so that's what I love bringing into that coaching, to that coaching relationship. And sometimes it's that transfer of energy. There's an energy, there's an excitement, there's a creativity when you're collaboratively working together to create some opportunities for growth. So that's one piece that I really enjoy. And then the other piece I would say is I work with people who oftentimes they may come to me and they may feel like they're in a state of overwhelm. Perhaps they feel like, maybe there's too much on the plate. They're not sure where to start. They're not sure what direction to go in, and really helping them create a solid roadmap and identify some goals and identify some action steps to really take things one step at a time. And in those moments, I can honestly see people just, you see the shoulders start to relax, and people feel secure in having that solid sense of taking a look at things a different way and having a framework to get started and a path forward. So that's things I really love too.
Great. Well, that's very good. Is virtual impacting? You just mentioned that personal interaction. Are you handling the virtual world?
I am. It's been really interesting. I mean, in one way, it's expanded my reach. I mean, I work with global clients at this point, so I can work with clients literally all over the world. And so that piece has been, interesting. It's been an interesting evolution. I mean, I had virtual trainings in place as, prior to the pandemic. I worked with my private clients virtually, but there's definitely been an expanded reach for sure that I've seen. The interactions, it is a little different. I'm still getting there. I really love connecting with the audience in a way where the energy within the room starts to rise and lift, and we get excited and working together, and very facilitative in nature. And so still, we can still do that virtually without a doubt. So that hasn't stopped per se, but I'm sure looking to being back in person.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Well, and I just want to take a moment before I turn it over to Danielle to ask you a couple questions. And thank you. You were very complimentary about the chamber when you introduced yourself and started your remarks. And I just want to thank you. You mentioned volunteer roles. You have one with us. You've been a chamber ambassador, membership ambassador for us for a couple of years now. Again, that role is on a little bit of a hold at the moment in how we appropriately use our ambassadors. You're usually an extra set of hands and a face to welcome new members and get existing members engaged in the organization. So we look forward to being able to do that again when we have in-person events. But I just want to take a moment and thank you for that dedication and that support and that commitment to our organization and our success. You've reached out to me personally, to kind of help me through the process, of trying to figure things out over the last year. So I appreciate you having our back and being a huge cheerleader for us. So thank you. And I know Danielle's going to ask you a couple questions and kind of move us into a little bit more of a conversation about the leadership game.
Sure. Thank you.
Thanks so much for joining us, Jenna. As Eileen mentioned, I wanted to dive a little bit into the leadership game. The chamber team has participated in that twice. I remember we did the game a couple months apart. It's a great experience that I think for us really sort of facilitated conversations that we might not have otherwise unless we participated in that game. And it was a great way to learn more about, everyone on the team, their communication styles, and kind of open up maybe some challenges we were facing with each other with communicating and working together. So really great experience. And I'd love for you to share what the game is, how it works, and the overall purpose of it, what it facilitates.
Sure. Yeah, thank you. The leadership game is really an incredible experience, like you've mentioned. And, part of the incredible experience is the people who participate in it. So that's what really makes the game, so special. And it truly is purposed to facilitate connection and collaboration. So that's one of the main purposes of the game. And it's interesting because I've played this game with people who have worked together for 30 years. And I have played this game with people who have never met one another at all. And in each and every instance, people walk away. Some of those people who have worked together for 30 years, honestly, I'll hear them say, they turn to the person that they're connecting with and they say, I never knew that. How did I never know that about you? Yeah. And people who have never met really truly establish mutually beneficial connections that I have seen them move on to create some incredible business relationships with. So, connection and collaboration is absolutely one purpose of the game. I think the really cool thing is that the mix of facilitated dialogue includes questions related to self-leadership. So, it really poses opportunities for each participant to think into what are some action steps I could perhaps take that will help me get closer to my goals, or do I need more visibility in clarity in terms of what my goals look like? How can I take some action steps to get there? And so, the questions are designed to help each participant move forward as an individual as well as collectively. So if you're playing with an organization, let's just say, there are questions that are designed to help that organization uncover what are some things that we may anticipate as challenges as we look down the road in the next 6 months. What are some things that we should anticipate and talk through collectively and collaboratively in this space so that we can create some action steps moving forward. So that would be one thing, is, really taking a look at what are some challenges that we may experience, what are some opportunities that we have for growth, and how can we leverage those opportunities. And the interesting thing, when you take a look at those types of questions in an environment with people who, let's just say, they don't know one another, they're coming in from 30 different organizations, the opportunity to have those conversations and create some visibility and do some cross-sharing of knowledge, of resources, of best practices. There's just this enormous kind of opening of people saying, I thought we were the only ones that were having that particular challenge. I didn't realize you were having it too. And so there's just this connection of, like I said, resource sharing, best practice sharing, connection sharing. So there's an incredible dialogue, and that's one of the things that helps people not only move forward and create next steps, but further relationships that can help them take next steps.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting that the game can sort of be tailored to any sort of group. You can play it with strangers and people that you don't work with, or you can play it with people that you've worked with for years, and you'll still get something out of it and you'll still learn something new. So I think that's a really interesting aspect of it. And I know you had your cards with you and you wanted to maybe play a very quick version of the game.
Well, I said, hey, since we're going to be talking about the leadership game, why don't I just grab a few questions, and I'll let you pick one. Let's see if I can get. So typically the way this works is we have, there's die. I roll the die. They're all different kinds of questions. These are just kind of 3 different types of questions, but they're all different types of questions. And sometimes we do breakout rooms in Zoom. So people do partner exercises. We do group share, all different kinds of questions. But I just grabbed 3 different ones. So Danielle, take your pick: yellow, green, or maroon. What do you think?
I'll do green.
Perfecto. Okay, here we go. The question is this. List 5 things you do well. 5 things you do well. I'm going to imagine the Jeopardy music going.
It shouldn't be so hard to answer that when you're talking about yourself. I think, man, this is hard.
So why don't we do this?
Can I help her?
Yeah, I was going to say, you think from your perspective, Danielle, and then Eileen, from your perspective, knowing Danielle and working with her, feel free to share, some things that you see from your perspective.
Sure.
I think, sorry, I thought of something. I think I'm a good communicator. Obviously, always something that I want to improve on, but I think I'm capable of giving honest feedback and, constructive feedback. But I also credit that, I think, to the environment here at the Chamber, that Eileen and Melissa facilitate those open conversations and we can be really honest with each other. So I definitely credit a lot of that to them. I know some workplaces aren't, don't have that kind of situation in that environment. So I'm really grateful for that. And I think it has helped me become a really good communicator. Something else. I'm very organized.
That was one I was going to say.
I like to think I am. I can't thrive or focus in any sort of disorganization or clutter or anything like that. So I'm very organized, both at work and at home. So it's definitely something I'm good at. Can't believe I have to think of 3 more things.
So here's what we're going to do.
I was going to say, we may be able to take you off the hook.
Here's what we're going to do.
We can only go so much longer.
Well, just because I know there's a time limit for this particular, for this time that we have together. So Danielle, why don't you think of 1 more? So that would make it 3. And then what I'm going to do is I am going to follow up with you, though, for 2 more, because I want you to think over 5. Okay, so I'm going to follow up with you. And so while you're thinking of 1 more, so here's some of the value now. Here's some of the value of this type of question, let's just say. Number 1, isn't it interesting how if someone were to ask us, what are 5 things that you don't necessarily rock at? what are some things that really aren't strengths of yours? Isn't it interesting how perhaps that list might tend to fill up, right? But when someone asks us, what are 5 things you do really well? Isn't it interesting how we really have to take time to think about that? Because so often we go, and sometimes we tend to lose sight of the value that we're bringing in our everyday. And sometimes we tend to lose sight of the value of the strengths that we have that we can really embrace and step forward into. So the more that we can, number one, recognize them, then stare them eyeball to eyeball and say, okay, now I want to do something with that. How can I up level that? How can I take that to the next level? The other thing that does in a group environment is it gives people visibility to say, oh, you know what, Danielle's really great at organization. You know what, I could really use some help with organization. So maybe she has some strategies that that I can learn from her. And so whether you're in team environment or you've never met people before, there again is the benefit of the visibility of starting to learn about the people that you're connecting with. Right. All right. So what's your one more?
I think I'm good at designing and creating things. That's one part of my role here at the Chamber that I really enjoy is, creating graphics for social media and for email and designing print marketing materials and things like that. So I really enjoy that. And I consider myself to be skilled in that area.
Absolutely. Fantastic. Well, thanks so much for sharing that with us. And I would say, yes, I would say on the client side, right? So let's just say I'm a client of the Chamber. We could look at it that way. And I would say from that perspective, I have absolutely seen every one of those things. And your responsiveness, the way that you serve as a leader, the way that you serve your clients is just truly tremendous. So thank you so much for all you do.
Thank you. I really
Absolutely.
appreciate it.
So, and again, I have to echo, and Danielle's very good at all of the things she mentioned, and I look forward to seeing her tomorrow. I think you should put them in the chat instead of just putting them with Jenna. I think you should put them in the chat. I'll pick out 5 that I think are mine, and I think we ask our members, the people who are listening, let's take it as a moment to reward ourselves, but also get some acknowledgement, from the community as well. I think it takes, it's a positive for everybody to take that time and, celebrate themselves and what they are able to accomplish. So join us on the chat and put in your own 5 places where you think you excel. We'd love to hear from everybody listening today. And I know Drew has been flashing up your website, jennaarmato.com. You can also reach Jenna at attractengageinspire.com, her email address. And I just want to thank everybody for tuning in today. I want to thank Jenna for joining us. As you mentioned, the things and the benefits of the leadership game, I look forward to experiencing them with our Reach Coffee Chat group next Tuesday. Again, a great group of women who have really supported each other, and I can't wait to see the outcome of them going through this process as a group as well. I think it'll make quite an impact on everybody. So I thank you for taking the time and sharing that facilitation, that expertise, with us and kind of guiding us through that process. So again, thank you to everybody for joining us. We're going to sign off for today's show. We look forward to having you join us next Monday. Do we have a guest, Danielle?
Yes, we are not the 15th, the following Monday. We have Jessica Ziegler-Seelar from Village Architecture and Preservation will be joining us.
So stay tuned to social media. When we do secure a guest for next Monday, we will put that information out there. If you are a Chamber member and have not yet been a guest and would like to be a guest on our show next week, please reach out to Danielle at tri-county-area-chamber.com and we can get you on the schedule. We'd love to showcase you and your business just like we did Jenna today. So again, thank you, Jenna. Great to see you again. I look forward to next week. And thank you again for all of your support of the Chamber. Thank you again for tuning in. That's all for now. We'll see you next week. And thank you again to our mission and vision partners. Without them, we couldn't be doing the work that we are doing. So have a great afternoon, everyone.
Thank you for tuning in. Please like, turn on notifications, subscribe, or share. Want to be a guest? Email podcast@tricountyareachamber.com.